Welcome and thanks for joining us for this edition of Scope. On 16th September 2021, 46 years after gaining political independence, ordinary Papua New Guineans continue to struggle to be economically independent to produce a country where no one gets left behind. Human Development Institute, based at 6 Mile NCD, is one organization that is making an effort to help ordinary Papua New Guineans to make a difference in their lives.
After 25 years of developing grassroots skills, Human Development Institute under Papa Sam has achieved a number of milestones towards the destiny of making an ordinary Papua New Guinean truly independent. TEM, commonly known as Papa Sam by his praxis, said though Papua New Guinea is politically independent, after 46 years, economic independence is yet to be gained.
Economic independence, not yet. Because, Planning line is a struggle, Painim Kai, law and order problem, unemployment. So, economy is still, strong yet. So, that's why I work for me now and belong. Developing man very long come up, what we call commercial entrepreneur. Keep up in business, keep up in country, using only resources, only DIY, only peace plus all water. Kind resources up there, you will not use him. Because sabe lo use him, you will not got. So resource you play got, but lo use him something long. Now long come up rich, long you play it. And this plata so, emi no stop.
As the Human Development Institute celebrates 25 years of existence, Director Tem graduated students with certificates qualifying them under 7 different categories of business targets being achieved. He said when one reaches level 4, it shows that he or she is already financially independent and will no longer need assistance to do business but to progress further.
So we play school HTM, we play at 7 level, we play level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7. So now we start at level 5. Me finish now we graduate at level 4, now we go to level 5. So level 5 now, we plan to start a micro, we plan to a commercial now. We plan to work on big projects, we plan now school, we plan to help, we plan to go to level 6. From level 5, we plan to go to level 6 and then we plan to go to level 7 up in the same.
HDI found that it is important for education to start at home with the family. Human development is the responsibility of parents. If they are educated to develop their own potential, then they will have the experience to develop their children.
So the whole idea behind the homeschool is you save your money and then the children can decide, are you going to go and get working class education, go back and work, what we call economic education, or are you going to come to HDI and come in business class education?
Human Development Institute has created personal viability homeschool to encourage everyone at home to generate income projects to meet all the family needs. HDI intends to roll out a nationwide PV homeschool program. A trial program was started in July and ended in September. Winners were awarded prize money on Thursday, 16th September. The winners were those who made the highest money out of the 10 kina initially given in the start of the program 8 weeks ago. There were 4 categories of winners: under 10 years old, under 18, adults, and the whole family. The winner for under 18 was 8-year-old Alexis Pascalis Zariga, who made 800 kina savings. Under 18 was 12-year-old Drayden Vaya, who made 2,100 kina, and Ruby Zariga for adult category, who also saved more than 2,000 kina. The Zariga family also took out the family prize.
I have been selling chocolate at 4 different locations with 4 different sellers. I want to say PV Homeschool is a good program for us children to learn how to make money and save.
PV Homeschool has taught me how to save money instead of spending it. And one of the is that you must always roll your money over and over again. If you don't roll your money, it won't grow. You must let it grow like how you grow.
The prizes consisted of cash, double the savings deposited into Mama Bank passbook accounts by the Women's Microbank. Over 25 years, PV training program has inspired and assisted many to start and grow small to medium enterprises, but trading venue has been always a challenge. PV Praxis were happy to hear on the Silver Jubilee of the HDI in PNG that a precious gift was given in the form of a land to build an incubation center. The chairman of the TSD group, Barry Ten, gave his consent for the use of the land, portion 2192.
It will be called the TST HDI MSME Incubation Center.
Papa Sam said HDI hopes to open the incubation center in November this year. He said those who trade in this center will be called the second generation straight passing store.
So the eligibility into the second generation straight passing store scheme is your PPBS index score, a viable person. If you're not viable, you will not succeed. So you have to become viable. You have to go through the system to become viable, and then you'll be all right, and then you get the opportunity to start your own business, own your own business.
A leading praxis in the PV training program and a successful entrepreneur, Florence Vaya, or Mama Eagle, said it was a prayer answered.
Marketplace. Mama can cry on me. Mama Eagle. Suppose only you finding ground. Now this year today, I'm entering prayer for you.
Mama Eagle, Florence, expressed heartfelt thanks to HDI, TST group of companies, and Alexis Stem for this gift on behalf of the other praxis.
Now when through you be celebrating big independence. Inside the you mean a meet no cry. So one time is like please, big talk thank you no family below you Alex, big talk thank you no Papa Sam na family below you. Na passing big talk thank you below me all the person na loyal on the PSP group of companies. Thank you too much.
Alexis Stem, director and owner of Rapid Response Security Service, was instrumental in the proposal to utilize the marked land with TST Group to build an MSME incubation center. RNR committed to provide 24-hour security service free of charge.
But to give you the opportunity, the chance to trade, for the people that are working the daytime, they can come there after work and see what you're selling, and hopefully buy so that you can trade. And as the two young ones said, roll your money. Roll over your money to make more money. So I thank TST especially for seeing what I can see in the land, to give me the opportunity to present this to them, to create this venue for the students, for the PV praxis, to grow.
Person 2192, Jack Piddick Park, was the subject of dispute between TST Group and NCDC in recent past. From Australia, chairman of the TST Group, Barry Ten, said that this MOU to erect a MSME incubation center is taken in the intent to honor the late Tin Siu Ten's plan to develop the 5-mile junction for a mixed mall, office space, recreational amphitheater, and medical hub.
When we come back, no jab, no job policy inflicted on families of employees, including those who had opted to get vaccinated. The The no jab, no job policy that has been enforced in Lae has left over 400 workers jobless. Ordinary citizens have been calling on the government to make its stance clear since the policy came into effect this month.
Staff from Mainland Holdings Limited at Lae's 8 Mile Crocodile Farm were the first to react against the no jab, no job policy. On Monday, the 30th of August, the MHL Chief Executive Officer was attacked by over 50 staff as he was driving into the company premises. Frustrated staff stoned his vehicle as he made a quick getaway. While the CEO was lucky, a safety officer was not. He had to be rushed to the hospital after the group attacked him. The deadlock continued on Tuesday, 31st August, where both management and staff refused to budge from their demands. Management said, "Get vaccinated or lose your job," while over 100 staff at that time protested that they have the democratic right to make decisions regarding their well-being. It was also evident that the widespread theories surrounding the vaccine had created panic and fear among workers from Lae's 6 Mile processing plant, the 7 Mile mill, and the 8 Mile crocodile farm. Around 40 crocodile farm workers gathered outside the 8 Mile premises at 8 on Tuesday morning to have dialogue with the Mainland Holdings management. However, it was soon obvious that the company was not willing to reach a compromise. The farm's general manager, Eric Langlet, stepped out and told the group that those who have been vaccinated may enter, while the vaccination deadline has been extended to accommodate those who are yet to get their dosage. The frustrated staff were made to stand outside in the heavy downpour, with management standing firm on its policy. The crocodile farm workers were soon joined by their colleagues from the 6 Mile processing plant and 7 Mile mill, who were chanting, "CEO must go." A few days later, on the morning of Friday, 3rd September, staff from the Lae International Hotel protested in front of the hotel premises. A few of their colleagues were already terminated because of the jab policy. Coincidentally, the Prime Minister had spent the night there after attending a Wafi Golpu forum at Mumeng in Bulalo district. The Prime Minister stepped out of his vehicle to address the crowd, giving assurance that he will direct the pandemic controller to visit Lae and assess the situation.
Now, you may go to Maskele, lo workplace too. Sampla, all feel some safety blow, look at compromise, no talk so. Online long, National Control Center, but come on top long, here long next week Tuesday, I look one time or one more workplace. You blah feel some all talk also. I'm right on God. Let him come check him now, by me looking workplace safety too, you may be not compromising. But at the same time, policy stop where, you're not going to force your man look kissing vaccine and not the policy stop.
The following Monday, on the 6th of September, over 1,000 students of the University of Technology peacefully protested the no jab, no job policy that is being enforced by companies in Lae. The students, who were joined by staff members, walked around their Taraka campus chanting, "My country, my choice, make vaccine optional." After their walk, the students gathered around the Duncanson Hall, where they received Lae MP John Rosso and Morbe Governor Ginson Sanu. When presenting their 3-point petition, Student Representative Senate Member for Postgraduates Bill Latta said rising unemployment and social disorder are imminent with the implementation of the no jab, no job policy. That is why they have decided to fight for their people's rights. Minister Rosso, in response, said Cabinet never made vaccination compulsory.
There's a little bit of misinformation. I'm part of Cabinet, and Cabinet, we never say that the vaccine is mandatory. It is optional. It is and always has been optional. Forcing down our people's throats.
Minister Rosso outlined that PNG is not like Fiji, where its government effected a no jab, no job policy on the 15th of August to end the outbreak of the highly infectious Delta variant.
But same time, it's not like infringing the rights law, trunk or like, do you mean arousing more work law, like what you guys pointed out. I didn't realize that there were some people who got sacked because of the no-chair policy. In my opinion, I'm no good plan.
On the other side of the spectrum, one employee made the tough call to get vaccinated. Samuel Alois has worked and lived within the Mainland Holdings 8 Mile Crocodile Farm for 29 years. He lived within the company premises about 20 minutes outside Ley City and raised his children there as well. He got vaccinated to keep his job, but had to draw the line when his family was forced to take the vaccine as well.
All possible Mary picking in the two like Simpson. You play like Simpson, you blow move out. The resident block company move out, you blow step outside or man blade blood soon work man inside the park. Me talking about me must research. You're housing Mary picking in me no got choice. All no got house. I'm all back sleep and then the house plan blow. One talk for family, me feel most no God.
Alois got his first vaccine shot when the no jab, no job policy was introduced. He did not tell his family as he did not want to scare them. However, it was soon evident that the company wanted everyone within its premises to be vaccinated. Out of his 7 children, 3 are still in school. Alois' family had to resettle outside of the crocodile farm. Alois' wife, Martina, said following the protest on Monday, August 30th, the family was given notice to vacate the premises.
Sunday lem mo se mi pla raw sim kago ya we mi pla no gat block lo house lo block na time mi pla ivik na go stop lo block ya ol pigini am ol fili mo se live ma hat straight lo na mi pla go ta house line inside lo farm mi pla no look one plan nara plan na mi pla lucy farm na mi pla go out our movie mi pla just move ta sol na go.
The Alois family are just part of the more than 400 workers who have lost their jobs due to the no jab, no job policy. A committee is working closely with the Public Solicitor's Office to seek redress. The Prime Minister on Tuesday, 14 September, said business houses will have to seek endorsement from the National Control Centre to enforce COVID-19 protocols. However, he is yet to fully address the situation in Ley, where ordinary citizens are still fighting for their rights.
After the break, PNG think tank researcher Dr. Linsley Kutan says the shortages of houses in towns and cities has reached a critical level and needs urgent attention. The public-private partnership is more than needed to increase the supply of houses. The shortages of houses in towns and cities of Papua New Guinea has reached a critical level that requires urgent attention. One says Senior Research Fellow of the PNG National Research Institute. Sustainable Land Development Program Leader Dr. Linsley Kutan says the uncoordinated initiatives introduced by the government and the private sector has not been able to address the issues. As a result, a public-private partnership is needed to collectively increase the supply of houses to the housing market.
Housing shortages in urban areas of Papua New Guinea have reached a critical level that requires urgent attention. Senior Research Fellow of the PNG National Research Institute, Dr. Lindsay Kutan, is Sustainable Land Development Program Leader. He authored the paper, The Role of Private Sector in Addressing Housing Shortages in Papua New Guinea. The paper reveals that the uncoordinated housing initiatives introduced by the government and the private sector have not addressed the housing shortages, and that public-private partnership is needed to collectively increase the supply of houses to the housing market. Among the main points, Dr. Kutan points out that the private sector's role is in the construction and the supply of houses, while the government support is needed to mitigate the challenges faced by the private sector to promote the growth of the housing sector. In the past, public housing and institutional housing were provided by the National Housing Corporation in the public sector. In recent years, government departments and statutory organizations have rolled out numerous residential projects under their home ownership schemes to help employees suffering from this housing debacle. Furthermore, the private sector, through the superannuation industry, had initiated large private sector housing projects. Some foreign and national private developers have added additional stock of houses to the formal housing sector. However, Dr. Kutan points out that the number of houses constructed, whether by public or private sector, in an uncoordinated fashion is unlikely to have an impact on the total housing demand in the housing market. As a consequence, this has forced some working-class Papua New Guineans to resort to informal housing arrangements which often lack the basic amenities such as water, electricity, and sewage. This paper focuses on the role of the private sector in addressing the housing shortages in the urban areas of the country. Dr. Kutan states there is an imminent need for the development of a vibrant public-private partnership to collectively address the housing shortage. This partnership will enable the exchange and utilization of the needed capital resources and technical expertise from the private sector to encourage growth in the housing sector. And so it is imperative to understand the scope of the private sector's input in the delivery of affordable houses. In adopting the proposed holistic housing policy framework as reported by Kutan, the paper distinguishes the housing market into three categories: the demand side, the private, and the role of the facilitators in the housing sector. The private sector comes under the supply side, largely influenced by the availability and the cost of land, appropriate building materials, technology, and skilled labor. This means the private sector's main role is in the production and the construction of houses for the housing market. While the private sector also manufactures building materials and supplies of labor and capital, this research paper focuses on its primary role in the development and construction of houses. According to the Independent Consumer and Competition Commission Report 2010, these roles of the private sector are categorized into the following. Developer. The private sector's role is in the development of underdeveloped land for the purpose of building houses. Builder. The private sector constructs new residential allotments to supply the housing market. However, studies have highlighted the challenges of the private sector in recent past in providing houses within urban areas. This includes shortage of state land within the urban areas, delays in securing approvals for housing projects, high cost in the development of trunk infrastructure, shortage of skilled labor, high cost of building materials, and project financing for developers. Only 3% of alienated land located in urban areas has been exhausted, and so private-led residential developments were pushed outside the periphery of towns and cities where 97% of land is held under customary tenure, which the private sector is reluctant to expand on. In the housing sector in PNG, there is no single legislation that regulates the whole industry. It cuts across multiple state agencies that are regulated by their respective legislations, resulting in long and cumbersome bureaucratic processes needed for approvals. Proper development of roads, sewage, water systems, and electricity are prerequisites for proper and orderly urban town planning. The private sector perceives the construction of these enablers as the responsibility of the government, as it requires large capital investments. So the efficiency of the private sector in delivering affordable housing can be enhanced through government support in the areas including strengthening and resourcing the reforms on the customary land administration processes to address the shortage of state land. Streamline and define the roles and functions of the multiple state agencies involved in the release of land for construction of houses. Affordable housing is dependent on reducing the input cost of construction of houses. Therefore, in this public-private partnership, the government must provide serviced land and ensure that before houses are constructed, roads, electricity, water, and sewage are provided. Upskill more unemployed youths into technical and skilled workforce, as there is a shortage of skilled labor. The government, through the Bank of PNG, should support the private developers to have the ability to borrow from the commercial banks and financial institutions for large residential projects. The report concludes that the uncoordinated initiatives introduced by the government and the private sector has not been able to address the issues. The private sector's role is primarily the construction and supply of houses, while the government should play a facilitative role to foster an enabling environment that will mitigate the challenges experienced by the private sector in addressing the housing shortages.
That ends another episode of Scope, a kind reminder to apply simple measures to prevent the transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water, cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance.